Howard Kitchen, who nominated our team. Congratulations to the other inductees. How hard is it to win a national championship? The 1967 Molson Canadian team, Kathy mentioned, is the only senior men's team from Manitoba to ever win the Nationals. What sets our midget team apart is the fact that it beat the best 15 teams from 8 provinces, 3 years in a row. First win was made by a team made up of 11 16-year-olds, 1 17-year-old, and only 1 18-year-old, playing in an under-19 division. No other midget team from Manitoba before us or after us won a single midget national tournament. In fact, only 4 other teams from outside BC and Ontario have ever won. Why was the team so successful? Mary and I played and coached at senior nationals for several years. We looked at softball not as a recreational game, but as a competitive sport. The way most Canadians look at minor hockey, with the recruitment of an exceptional young pitcher and the support of some very enthusiastic parents, the first Mite team was formed. From this start, the team steadily improved, winning 4 consecutive provincial championships before expanding into playing other provinces. Terminators won a silver medal at Pee Wee and Bantam Westerns before starting a winning streak with a gold at the 1993 Westerns. The Terminators put an exceptional amount of time into honing their skills, starting with indoor practices in February and ending with 2-a-day practices the week before Nationals. In between, the team played league games Monday and Wednesday and practiced Tuesday, Thursday. The team played in tournaments on the weekends, leaving only 1 weekend off. This schedule required an enormous amount of time from not only players, but also their parents. I'd like to add at this time that not once in all these years did I ever have a parent or a player suggest that they needed more time off or to reduce the amount of playing time we had. They were all gung-ho all the time. But, of course, not everything always went as planned. Dennis will tell you some of the things that didn't go so well.
Dale thought I should come up here and reminisce and talk about some of the more memorable things that I remembered. And it was in my first year coaching with him. We were doing the second year at Bantam. And I worked at the Workers' Compensation Board as a consultant. And I was in my office. And the night before, we had a practice. So I had baseball bats, about 50 or 60 balls in the back of my Jeep, all the bases, a couple of tees. And my administrative assistant came in and said, "Do you drive a red Jeep?" And I very proudly said, "Well, yes, I do." And it was my prize red Jeep. And I said, "Why?" She goes, "Well, it just drove out of the parking lot." So, not believing everything I'm told, I get up and walk down to the hall about 50 feet. There's a big window that looks in the parking lot. And sure enough, the spot where I parked it is empty. My Jeep's gone. Now, I just sat and stared out the window in amazement. An irrational thought would be, maybe I should phone the police. Or maybe I'm going to have to buy a new car. Or maybe they're going to trash it. Maybe they'll run it into the floodway. Who knows? That would have been a rational thought. But I stared out the window, and all I could think of, how the hell am I going to tell Lucia we don't have any bats, balls, and bases to play games? And I was just bewildered. And finally, my administrative assistant tapped me in the shoulder, and she said, "Don't you think you should call the police?" And I said, "Yeah, that would be a very good idea." Now, there are many more stories like that, but I'm going to make this short. It was a pleasure coaching with Dale. I thank him for asking me to come and coach with him. The year that he did ask me to coach, he had won silver at Saskatoon. And he had picked up my daughter Lindsay to play that series. And after the series, I remember we're walking in the parking lot. And at that time, I was coaching for a Bonnie Vittel team. And Dale was talking to me, and he said, "You know, you ought to think about coming and coaching with us. Because, you know, we'd like Lindsay on the team." And I figured it was a package deal if they were taking